Hello, you little smashers. How are you doing? Today I'm talking about chaos and I'm talking about order. I think we all know which one we want. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So in a recent conversation with the emissaries, I was saying to them, everything seems a little bit chaotic. Have you noticed that? Yeah. I mean, it does, doesn't it? I mean, it couldn't be any more chaotic. It's to the point where I'm just like thinking, oh, what the hell? It's too silly to even take seriously. And they said, yes, it's chaotic at the moment, and it has to be chaotic. They said because it's basically in the tarot, we're in the tower moment, the tower card. They said it's the fall of the old structure, the old system, and the building of the new. And so it is a very chaotic moment, because when we look, what we're actually seeing is the tumbling of everything that we've known. Remember, everything that we've been told is a lie. We're seeing the fall of all of those mistruths, untruths, non-truths. I don't even know what the word is. Those things are untrue. We'll put it that way. And so the whole scenario that we're seeing now is chaotic, absolutely chaotic, and it has to be. All right, don't wish it away. Don't look at it like it's forever. Good lines to a song, Elton John. And so the emissaries then went on to say, well, the idea is this is the process in which we find ourselves. It has to be this way, and it is the process of chaos leading into order. And I said, hang on a minute. Order out of chaos? I've heard that shit somewhere before. And they said, yes indeed. Do you think that the baddies have got monopoly on this process? Do you think that they're the only ones who are working to bring order out of this chaos? But they said the difference is that the process that's happening, which is the true letting the old fall and become chaotic and crumble, and then the new coming in. The difference is that the order that the goodies are bringing in is very different to the order that the baddies want. They want their kind of order, which is a bad order, which is a controlling order, which is a limitation order. Whereas the one that's coming is a very different kind of order. This is just synchronicity, that kind of order. They said that the baddies have they've co-opted the process. They know what the process is, chaos, order, and they've co-opted it and tried to divert it, to pervert it even. And I was listening to a conversation between Magenta Pixie, interesting name, I think that's a real name. I don't think so, is it? Magenta Pixie, and Pam Gregory. I like Pam. Very nice person, Pam, who's an astrologer. And they were talking, and look, I'm going to be frank. Can I be frank? Or I'll just stay being Gordon. But let me tell you, when I listen to Magenta Pixie talking about the nine and who she channels, I don't understand any of it. I don't understand what she's saying. All of the words that she uses, I haven't got a frame of reference for them. I don't know what they mean. Fortunately, every now and again she says, I don't know what that means either. So I feel a bit better, but I don't feel that much better. So I don't understand. But then Pam will step in and kind of put it in more of a astrological sense. And I think, okay, I can roll with that. But they were talking about one particular bit that really stood out. And it was the bit that I'd already had as a message from the emissaries already. And it was about the fact that when you are pushing downstream, going with the flow, right, which is what this process of good is doing. It's going with the flow the way that it should be, the plan. When you're doing that, everything's easy. It's very easy, and you expend a very small amount of energy. And this is why you find when you're doing something and you are in your flow, You don't even notice the energy that you're using. You don't notice the time. You don't notice anything. You are just whoosh. However, you know the expression, if you put your hand on a kettle as it's boiling, that's going to be the longest 3 seconds of your life. Okay, when you are doing something that is going against the flow, when you're pushing upstream, when you're climbing up this hill like this, it's very difficult, and it takes tremendous amounts of energy from you when you are not flowing in the right direction. And so this is where the baddies are at the moment. They are trying to create their own flow, which is not the true flow. And it is taking a massive amount of energy from them. They are worn out. And hence the fact that everything is tits up. I mean, for them, everything is going tits up. They just can't do it. It's just not the time anymore. They've had their time. Now it's not the time. The time is for the good to happen. And so if they don't try and do good, it will go badly for them. Yeah? So it was just interesting that the 9 from Pixel, what's she called? Magenta Pixie, then they were saying something very similar, apart from all the bits I didn't understand, but I understood that bit. So what do we do in this time of chaos? Well, the advice that I was given was this. All we do during these chaotic periods is to wait for it to settle down. We just need to wait for it to settle down. It will settle down. And they give me the analogy of ayahuasca. All right. Obviously, if you haven't experienced ayahuasca, you don't know, but I'll explain what they were showing me. When you take ayahuasca, right, what happens is this. It takes about half an hour for it to kick in. And the word kick is probably on the right lines. It kicks in and you go through what I would call the mad period, the mad part. What is the mad part? The mad part is this, where stuff starts to happen in your mind that is so wild, so ridiculous, so extreme, so inexplicable that it's just beyond your ken. Okay. Now, one of the biggest pieces of advice that you get with ayahuasca is surrender to the process. Surrender to it. Why? Because when you're there, what you want to do is try and make sense of it. You want to try and make sense of this madness. And when you try and make sense of it, you're not flowing with it. And it becomes worse. Trust me. Oh my God. It gets worse if you try and fight it. Because it's got a job to do. Which is, it's going to give you all of this chaos. And then, once you're through that, everything settles down and you get the most beautiful understandings and learnings. That's when, it isn't in the mad bit that you actually get the big learnings, it's just after. It's when everything goes, and you start listening to the music and really enjoying the music rather than thinking, what the hell? Because it is nonsensical. And remember that expression that the emissary said that when you're trying to make sense of the nonsensical, often you end up with false doctrine. Okay? It's like, why try and make sense of something that is nonsensical? This is where we are right now. We are in the mad bit of the ayahuasca journey. Or whatever. We are in the wild bit of the hero's journey. That's basically where we are. Let's not try and make sense of it. Let's not try. Loads of people are that try and put it inside of their little belief structure. And when I say little, that's not, I'm not being negative toward them. Our belief structures are all little. Nobody has the right size belief structure to handle what's happening. And when we're trying to force stuff into our belief structure, it just doesn't fit. Or it's a bad fit. But, sometimes we do it because it makes us feel a bit better. Like, I'm gonna work out all of everything that person said. I'm gonna convert it into gematria and numbers, and look, it's this number. don't do it. Don't waste your time trying to make sense of it. Don't try and look for patterns where there aren't patterns. Just let it happen. Just let it run its course. Let it run its, like a battery will run its energy out. Let it happen that way. And I promise you that when we get past this bit, all of the beautiful learnings are going to happen. All of the beauty is going to come in. Okay? And it will. And I think in many ways it already has. I mean, we've been through the mad bit as well. But I think there might be a little bit more madness to come. And I think it might be a bit broader. I mean, we've been very focused on the COVID and all of that madness, but I think there's quite a bit of madness because it's all got to fall. It's all got to fall. All right? And so we've just got to let it happen. Become the observer. That's what the Buddha said, wasn't it? You know, observe. Don't interact. Observe. Just keep chopping sticks and carrying water and observing and going, dearie me, dearie me. That's it. That's all that we have to do. That's what I do all the time. I go, dearie me, dearie me. And let it happen. And then we'll get to the other side. All right. Have a lovely weekend. I love you all, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.